Last time on Square Roots, we collect all the dragon blessings, meet a problematic cave girl, and finally face off against that no-good body snatcher Lynx. Later, we see Surge's actual bare bottom, full-grown bare-ass boy, and he's got no nipples, not on his bottom and not on his chest. And why did this game show me that smooth bare boy? Nobody asked for that, nobody asked for that!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Heyo.
John. What's a good one
Smooth
for John?
bear, Brandon.
John Time Devourer, Brandon.
I'm a time bear.
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs like Chrono Cross.
I love this
Cross.
game. Don't talk shit about Chrono Cross. This is one of the best games we played on the show.
It is actually. I don't disagree with you.
I kind of do. Vanessa?
Really?
Game.
What?
Excuse me? It sounded like you burped.
You said, game.
We got a lot to talk about tonight, actually. Quick aside, guys. When do we want to do this poll announcement? Where do we want to work that in?
Just do it now.
Let's do it right now.
Do it now.
Okay.
Do it now.
Yeah, do it right now.
Hey, I don't remember what the games are. All right. Hey, listeners, before we dive into our fucking sweet level up segment, Jim already talked about what we do as a show and what this is, right?
Sure did.
Great, thanks. I went and
I've
got
got
stoned
that
right before
mastered
we did
after
this.
almost 5 years. I've got at least the intro down.
That's horseshit. You fuck it up all the time. Listen, listeners, before we dive into the level up segment, we need to announce a new poll. That's right.
Whoa.
We'll be releasing a new Patreon poll on November the 2nd. That is the day this episode releases. That poll will run through November the 30th, I think.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I worked this all out the other night.
It's the
That poll's going to
30th.
run through the 30th. And then with the release of right before the release of our last, I think, Fable episode, right?
Yeah, the 30th is also Cyber Monday, so you can participate in our cyber poll, and you should do so by Cyber Monday.
And that poll is going to be for the game that we play for the end of the year. We have a list for you.
Yep.
It's a bunch of short
I know.
chunkers.
I know all the games.
All right, Jim's going to tell us the list.
We have, spoiler alert, it's all Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
No, this
Kingdom
is false.
Hearts
No,
2.
no.
Kingdom Hearts Dream
100%
Drop
it's not
Distance.
true.
No, none of them are Kingdom Hearts games.
None of them are Kingdom Hearts.
I only know mine, and mine is Vagrant Story.
Vagrant Story. Well, what is Vanessa's?
Mine is Fallout 3.
Wow, seems like a bunch of losers from other polls. What is John's?
Parasite Eve 2.
Oh, that's going to be the winner. And what is Matthew's? Mine is Trials of Mana. Listen, it's another poll loser, but it's a oft requested classic, and I think it's time to do it. Not the new version. No.
Oh, you can
The
play
old
either.
version. I don't think that's true, John.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
So are we anticipating, I mean, I know maybe we'll only cut this, but are we thinking that Parasite Eve 2 is going to win over Fallout 3, which has been a pretty close contender in at least one or two other polls?
I certainly hope Fallout 3 loses because I don't want to play that game at all. Trials of Mana.
It's a good game.
Parasite Eve 2. I really have enjoyed being able to play these games on my Vita. Best purchase ever.
I kind of really enjoyed playing Fable 2 on the console, though.
Did you already finish it?
I've already finished it.
You're kidding. Well, anyway, that's it. November 2nd through November 30th. We're giving you a whole month. We want to make sure everybody's got plenty of time. Usually a lot of votes at the beginning, but then the rest trickle in over the month. It'll probably be a nail-biter between Fable 3 and Parasite Eve 2 with Trials and Vagrant Story getting once again kicked to the wayside.
Yep, Fable 3 and Parasite Eve 2. Those are the two choices.
Fallout 3.
Anyway, let's talk about how we leveled up. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Yep. just taking over the show here. I'm sad, and I leveled up my sadness. The Rays lost the World Series in 6 games.
Oh, but they did really well, Matt.
Oh, it was devastating. It was devastating.
Tampa Bay can only have one national championship a year.
Man, it would have been so cool. And there's a good shot that the Bucks could win the Super Bowl this year, too. What if we got all 3?
That would be crazy. Has any team ever done that?
I don't know.
Surely New York has.
No way.
No. Come on. The Giants and the Jets are trash.
They have like 200
anyway,
baseball teams.
There's not, and I doubt it. So, hey, that's it for me. I just want to, I don't know, I thought maybe you guys would console me or something, but really it's just been kind of like, that's what you get!
Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
I tried to console
Shouldn't have got your hopes
You
up.
did.
This is
Vanessa's
2020,
the best.
motherfucker.
I know, but like we're so close, and this is the second time this has happened.
This really reminds me of that time that Vanessa's favorite musical did not win the Tony.
John. So who wants to level up next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
I watched a comedy special that was performed by a man by the name of Tim Heidecker.
Tim Heidecker. I watched it too. This is my level up now.
I think it's called like an hour, just like an hour with Tim Heidecker.
It's like an evening with Tim Heidecker.
Yeah, it's him doing like a parody of like bad male stand-up comedians. I think he opened. Well, the first like 5 minutes is him fumbling with the microphone stand because he knocked it over and he can't get the microphone back in.
It's excruciating. What a great thing. I've watched it twice.
It's literally almost 5 minutes of that. And then he's yelling at the audience because they're trying to grab it and take it away from him. It's hilarious. And then I think his first joke is, joke in quotations, but he's like, I'm a man's man comedian. He's like, when I tell people I'm a comedian, they go, oh, like Tim Allen? And I respond, ooh?
The best one is that I keep repeating to Jim. I may even have used it on an episode recently. Was Lady Gaga. Love Lady Gaga. Support everything she does. Love Lady Gaga. But I gotta say, what's next? Lord Goo Goo.
It's so stupid.
It's so bad. It really is. It's an hour long, and it is him doing an hour long absolute fucking bomb. And it's only like I kept watching. What kept me going was like, how's he gonna keep not being funny? Like, how's he gonna do it?
There are parts where he's trying to do like observational comedy and tell a story, but he keeps saying the wrong word in the punchline, so he starts over again, and then he tries, and he's getting more and more frustrated to the point where he just eventually just yells "fuck" and just like throws the microphone down.
It's
like,
incredible.
Really, there's a really funny part at the beginning where they forget to turn his like walk-on music off, and he's like screaming at the guy in the booth to turn it off, and he goes on this rant about how everyone has treated him like shit all day. It's so funny. Check out An Evening with Tim Heidecker. It's free on YouTube. It's a great piece of comedy. Performance art. Vanessa, how did you level up?
Well, of course, everyone knows that this episode comes out on the Monday before the Tuesday. So naturally, I've been in fetal position little ball all day, every day, every time, all day. So I bought a goat, and the goat is named Black Phillip. He is a very good goat, and he loves me, and I love him. And he tells me how to live deliciously, give me a taste of butter, and a beautiful dress, and I hold him, and I love him every day. And all I want to think about is Black Phillip, because he's going to take care of me, and everything's going to be fine.
Would thou like to live deliciously?
Oh, man. What if Black Phillip was an ooh character?
We still have to be deep, though. Be like, would you like to live deliciously? Would thou like a taste of buttow?
I had the insomnia, and I was on the internet, and I got one of those ads that's like, get this on Amazon, and it was a little stuffed goat, and I was like, oh my god, I have to have him. Like, nothing in my life is more important than this little stuffed goat at this moment. So I clicked on it, and it was tagged Editor's Choice for Black Phillip, and all of the reviews on it were like, I'd like a taste of butter. I want to live deliciously. So I got him, and he was supposed to come Friday, but he came the very next day. He is wonderful. He's got wires in him. He's made of that like recycled fabric. You know, technology has come a long way in many different areas, but we don't talk enough about plushie technology. Like when I was a kid, we didn't have this extra soft recycled fabric fur. We didn't have wire frames to stand them on their four legs and move the horns around. And anyway, I love Black Phillip. And that's all that's on my mind. Everything's fine. John, how did you level up?
Isn't Black Phillip like a personification of Satan?
Yeah,
What?
100%. He is Satan.
Black Phillip, crown grows out his head. Black Phillip, to nanny goodies wed.
Well, first I'd like to say I got to play a little game called
Black Phillip,
Among
Black Phillip,
Us.
king of
And it's a
all.
lot of fun. And I know we talked about playing it with our Discord, and then I forgot it was going to be the night that we're recording because we moved it to Friday. So I still want to play it with the Discord because Among Us is a lot of fun, but you need like 10 people for a good game.
John, you played Among Us on that AOC stream, right?
No,
You were on there.
nope. But it also, one thing that's cool is you can play it on PC, but you can also play it on your phone, and you can still get into, it's like Jackbox. You can still get into games together.
Yeah, I downloaded it on my tablet.
So whatever system you want to use, you can come join us and play some Among Us sometime. We'll figure out a good time.
I've got it on my phone.
But really, what I really want to tell you,
Black Phillip, sea and sand.
what I really
John,
want,
tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
I want to tell you about a land called Valisthea, which is a land blessed in the light of the mother crystals. You see, Final Fantasy XVI's adventure takes place in a land called Valisthea, which is studded with colossal mountains of glistening crystal called mother crystals. These mother crystals have towered over the realm for generations, blessing them with ether. This blessing of the mother crystals has allowed these realms to thrive and their people to live in comfort. Countless wars have been fought over the mother crystals all around the land, leading to the rise of nations such as the Grand Duchy of Rosaria, the Holy Empire of Sanbreque, the Kingdom of wouwdst, and the Dalmekian Republic, and the Iron Kingdom, each with their own culture and ideology. Ongoing skirmishes have forged an uneasy peace between these nations, but with the emergence of the ruinous blight, that fragile peace is starting to deteriorate.
This is
I'd
kind of
say-
my least favorite kind of Final Fantasy, where it's like geopolitical stuff.
I don't know. I like
that.
12.
I've said this before on this podcast, and regular listeners will know that I'm an RPG enthusiast. I like them. I like world building. I like storytelling. But when I hear it laid out in paragraphs like that, I just want to push someone into a locker. It makes me so mad.
But don't you want to hear about Clive Rosefeld, who's the main protagonist of the game? He's the
No,
first
I
No,
hate
we
him.
want to give him a swirly, John. We don't care
the
about him.
Archduke of
He's the
Rosaria.
worst.
And
I can
he's a
already
shield.
tell
Do
he's
you
the
want to do that, or is
worst.
Black Phillip telling you to
He's
do
a
that?
shield who protects his younger brother Joshua, who is the dominant of the Phoenix.
Actually, the
Oh,
summon
it
thing
is
sounds pretty cool.
Phoenix.
The whole dominant thing that people can turn into summons and they're like used for war for like political purposes. I think that's neat.
I am into Joshua. He looks like a little fancy boy. He has the worst name. Like, his name does not fit, like Josh. His name is Josh.
There should be a Chad.
Hey, I'm Josh, and I'm the apex of the Phoenix. My name's Josh.
I'm Chad, the emperor
He's wearing
of
such
the,
a fancy
of the
boy
duchy.
dress too. He's got like a little dress with a little doily on the collar.
Yeah, I'm the Archduke of Ivalice. My name is Steve.
He's the dominant of the Phoenix. I'm a real Feedom.
I like Final Fantasy for like the parties and the many characters, and this game seems like a one character? Like you have one player character? Just the one?
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to. I mean, I'm not gonna judge a game from that initial trailer, but it looked very kind of like Devil May Cry-ish.
I thought
a
it looked
little bit.
witchery to me.
It does look witchery too. I could see that as well.
So I'm very excited for Clive, Joshua, and Jill, who's the third main
Jill?
character. She looks like a schoolmarm in this drawing. Very proper. So who knows? Well, I guess I can tell you more about Jill if you want, because she's raised alongside them and taken from her homeland in the Northern Territories, a nation that swore loyalty to the Grand Duchy of Rosaria to become a ward of the duchy, securing peace between the two realms.
Is that really how it's pronounced? As duchy?
Yeah.
Yes. So she was taken from her home, and obviously she's a secret princess or a secret apex of the, like, carbuncle or something, right?
Probably.
Like, that's got to be it.
Yeah. She's a real dom of the carbuncle. Did you know what? When I was listening to the audiobook for Game of Thrones and they kept talking about milk of the poppy, I thought that the guy's accent made it sound like milk of the puppy. So I thought they were drinking dog milk, and that was what they were using when they were wounded. The milk of the puppy. Anyway, that's my level up. The milk of the puppy.
I think we need to get into Chrono Cross now. We need to activate the Prometheus circuit.
The record of fate.
And
I got bad news, listeners. Matthew wrote the notes, so they are a mess.
So there's 12 pages of
It's not 12 pages.
So we did say the record of fate, as this is the name of our section.
Oh shit! It really is 12 pages of notes.
I'm not kidding.
But in this chunker, we find out that the record of fate was actually used to manipulate and control people.
Yeah, that's dumb.
No, I like that. I actually like that point a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we use the podcast to manipulate and control people, so it seems appropriate.
Before we dive into all of the crazy shit that happens throughout into the second disc and the climax of this game, you can do a quick side quest by going back to Marbule in another world, which we saved with the power of Nikki's rock and roll. You know what I'm talking about?
We Bill and Ted that whole island.
Yeah. We Bill and Tedded that whole island, and now it's like Homeworld Marbule, where they're all super cool, and they're like, this is a place of love. And if you go back to the Black Dragon's cave, you can find a man who will sell you a master hammer for 10,000 monies. I don't know what it's called in this game. I never bothered to look.
I think it's gold, right?
And if you take it, if you equip it to Zappa and you take Zappa to another world Termina, you can meet another world Zappa, and they'll like figure out how to make rainbow gear. So did anybody make any rainbow gear?
No, because it requires these shiny elements that I never found. So
Oh, I know how you get them, John.
Yeah.
You have to use a summon of a particular color, and it'll drop one of those shiny elements.
And also, I read that all of the rainbow equipment, they are 20,000 gold a piece.
I had 100,000, so I could at least get a couple of weapons.
Yeah, I also could, because each piece needed like 6 of these shinies, and each shiny meant you had to get into a battle, use a summon
get the field. Yeah, first I have to get the field, all that summon's color.
I finally used some summons in this against some of these in this playthrough, in this chunker against some of these bosses, and they are cool. But anyway, so I also did not get the rainbow equipment. What a bunch of bullshit! It's so much fucking work to do, and then they are not like. Why at that point you would think they would be like, hey, like, here's the good shit. You did a lot of work, but they're like, no. Go grind.
Yeah, and the game is so
get
easy.
XP
like,
out of it.
I had no problem defeating any of these bosses with just, frankly, Serge's Master Mune. And the other, other people could have been using level 1 iron equipment or whatever, or bronze.
So anyway, shiny materials. We return to the Sea of Eden in the home world. Johnny, tell us what happens.
Well, Sea of Eden. This is a big lake and it's got 3 portals in it. There's a voice that welcomes you into their Sea of Eden. I don't know who the voice is. Let's just say it's Fate, maybe? Maybe it's Maybe it's Balthazar.
I thought
Maybe?
I thought it was one of the two.
Yeah. It could have been the virus that is Robo?
No, Robo's
That's
not
not-
a virus. Robo
That's not
was the
canon.
Prometheus circuit.
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So, once you go through the portal, then you get there's these little islands, the islands of the past, the island of the present, and the island of the future. And in the middle,
They have statues of the 3 fates on there. Clotho, Atropos, and the one I can never pronounce, Lachesis? Lachesis?
is this a thing from something outside of the game?
This is a thing from Greek mythology.
Oh,
Clotho spins the thread of life. Lachesis measures
Oh,
it.
yeah.
And Atropos cuts it.
oh. So that's why there's that RPG called Threads of Fate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everyone's fate is woven into a big old tapestry. And your fate and your life is only as long as it's measured to be. And then Atropos cuts it, and that's when you die.
Someone on the
That
Facebook group
is
was
the Wheel of Time that you're describing.
really wanting us to play Threads of Fate next year. And I said, maybe, because it's a JRPG I've never heard of, but it's on the Vita. You can download it to the Vita. So
It's on your the Vita.
So in the middle of these 3 islands is like a big watery triangle. Which is, I don't know, I guess like a raised island. It's
Yeah, it's a wat. It's a wet ass triangle.
yeah, WAT. And so when you go to these islands and activate their statue things, nothing happens really other than it like goes blue. But at the last one, you will fight a boss, and depending on which one it is, there'll be a different boss, and one of them gives you the Vigora element that I think like lets you have unlimited stamina for a while. I never used it.
Oh.
It seemed pretty interesting. So yeah, if you do present last, you get this really good thing. Although I got that dress too, which one of the bosses gives you, I got later, and that was pretty good. I gave it to Kid, and it was like real good stats.
I think I did future last, but I wasn't thinking about it.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. So the watery triangle, the wet ass triangle, sorry.
What does Vigora do? It
gives you
it
stamina.
stops you from losing stamina, but it only seems to last so long.
Okay.
It makes like after I think it's I don't know what the amount of time is, but if you're a blue innate character and you have it equipped, it will make your stamina stop dropping for a period of time. I don't know
You
if
can cast it. I cast it on Surge, and then then I went after one of these bosses with all like level 3 hits for like a full minute. It was pretty
That
great.
sounds
Still a lot
pretty
of fucking
great.
damage.
Who needs rainbow
He basically
equipment
killed the boss himself.
when you have Vigora?
Yeah, 100%. We've got Vigora, and if you're smart, you've got the plates, which negate the damage of a lot of these bosses for at least one of your characters.
Yeah. Yeah, like the green plate is really good for the last battle. Okay, so the waterfall, the wet ass triangle descends, and inside it is Time Fortress Chronopolis.
Great name.
You get inside, and you do fight the PolisPolice.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like Chronopolis, so
Arcab.
Police?
All robot cops are bastards. It is a robot cop. It's like a future world. Like I think chunks of 2300 AD are in here.
It's got them time echoes in it.
It does have time echoes. What did Judi Dench say about time echoes again?
A time echo is not a ghost.
Oh, that's right. And so there's like it looks pretty fancy and robotic. And you're going through there, and there's time echoes that like are sort of reenacting the last moments before I want to say the time crash.
There's a lot of exposition here. A lot.
There's some people in a room with a big map of the area you've been playing on, and they're like, Yeah, everyone thinks these are normal islands, but we went back in time and built them in the past, and then people are going to live on them.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
guys, I did a lot of cramming today, and so let me tell you what happened.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
you
a
did.
lot of this is revealed at the end, so maybe we should kind of save it because they don't tell you everything.
they
right
tell
now.
Yeah,
you-
you learn that the whole El Nido archipelago was manufactured. And that these records of fate are things that are designed to like quell and manipulate the populace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to basically to bring it to a certain point in history. So they're sort of controlling time by controlling people through the records of fate.
This seems like
Right.
a
Well-
very needlessly convoluted plot.
What we learn about here is so you head through this Chronopolis. There's a cool minigame spot that I guess we'll talk about at the end where you guide a little robot through some like water. It's fun.
Sure.
You like use an elevator and you run around a lot. There's a bunch of ghosts, and like if you get up to the top and you listen to the ghosts, they talk about how they talk about the counter time experiment that they're about to do, and they're just waiting for the chief to show up so they can start it.
And he's like having
they
a
talk
cigarette
about-
at the docks, which is great. But the chief is a time echo, which once again I should remind you is not a ghost, but is like a weird, creepy black silhouette.
Yeah, this is all stuff that happened in the past that we're seeing, obviously.
They look
And,
like kind of semi-translucent like black gummy bears.
They look like ghosts. So
Like
they're going to
Gumbies.
perform the counter time experiment, which is an attempt to master control over time through the use of the frozen flame, which I kind of forget how the frozen flame. There were too many items in this game. I got lost. There's
There's a
like
lot of
dragon
MacGuffins.
tears,
There's a lot
and
of
there's
MacGuffins.
frozen flames, and there's
Yeah,
Massive
and the
Muse,
dragons were
Massive
wanting you to fight fate, and that all sort of gets. They do explain, like
Yeah.
at the end of the game, the cast of Chrono Trigger just tells you what happened, but I still didn't understand. Anyway, so you head to the basement for the final boss, and you do go through a door that seems very ominous because it does say Project Kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this has something to do with Kid. Is she like a genetically engineered person? I did not guess properly what Kid was.
Well, how
Wait,
could
yes.
you?
See.
Why would Kid have? I don't.
Well, I don't know. I just
It explains it.
yeah,
it
it
explains
does.
it. It
But
does.
this was my guess at the time when I got into the Project Kid room. Like, okay, so Kid is like an android or like a created being.
Oh, that would be dope. That'd be better, I think.
She's had some moments throughout the game where she's mentioned that sometimes bad things happen, and then she just wakes up in a safe place and can't really quite remember what happened.
Yeah, I think she mentions that
Oh.
like right here too.
Yeah.
And
But anyway, we go through the ominous door, and who's there? It's our old good best friend, Link
Evil
Surge.
Surge
Dark Surge.
Ooh,
with
I
his little
watched a
skull
whole
hat.
I watched a whole hour-long analysis of the Chrono Cross plot on YouTube today.
Okay.
And it was infuriating because the guy narrating it kept calling Link's Linux.
Oh my
And it was
gosh.
like, oh man.
That doesn't. How would you know?
Well,
There's
yeah.
no way to get to that.
so Jim,
I don't know.
I'll need
Isn't that
you to
what the name of the operating,
explain.
the popular nerd operating system is?
Yep.
Linux.
I'll need you to explain the plot later because I didn't understand.
I can. I feel like I could write
Okay.
a dissertation on this game.
At
yeah.
the end of this chunker, you will explain what happened because I don't get it.
So at this point, Lynx, who is now Dark Surge, tells you that he is fate.
And
Lynx is fate.
what I find interesting is so Fate. I thought it was like going to be the goddess of fate that you fight, but Fate is like a computer program that stands for like fortified alternate time experiment or something dumb like
Yeah.
that.
Fate is a supercomputer. It is
Yeah.
the
Right.
supercomputer that runs Chronopolis.
And also,
Yes.
Surge is the administrator,
No, the arbiter.
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 Yeah, he's the arbiter because of. I guess we'll learn what happens when he was a kid.
Yeah, because there's
Well,
two
so-
revelations about Lynx. Revelation
Yeah.
1, he is a computer.
Uh-huh.
Or no.
Well,
Lynx
no.
is an organic extension of Fate, the supercomputer.
Because-
But he's also we can talk about it later, but he's also a character that Surge knows from
Yeah,
his
I said there's
past.
two
So-
revelations.
Yeah.
The first one is that he's an Atari Lynx, And the second, so links got created. Like, there's a whole info dump here that links got created because the fate system got severed after what happened when Serge got here last time. That something like disconnected the fate system from controlling the world.
Yeah, there was they called it. I wrote it down somewhere at the bottom, I think.
Oh, okay.
It was like it killed the power. A magnetic storm is what happened.
Oh,
yeah. Magnetic storm
that happens after the fight. Okay, so you fight
That's
fate.
That's how Serge and his father and Lena's father got onto the island and into the room with the frozen flame in the first place.
Right. So, but Lynx turns into a, do you know that War Amps commercial where it's like, my name is Goldar, I can put my arm back on, you can't, so play safe. It looks like that, but it's like a lady robot, and it's a cool, like, this game
looks cool.
This game has the
super
best I mean, it's a very late PS1 game. Like, this game came out right as the PS2 was coming out, and I think it has the best graphics of
it. Looks super cool.
It does have it. And it's. I don't even know that I would. I don't know if it's the graphics so much. It is. They did a great job. It's the designs. This stuff looks great. Yeah. All of these bosses look fucking awesome. The dragons mostly looked great. Mm-hmm. Fate looks cool. Mm-hmm. It's cool.
So Fate is like a 3000 HP pushover because, like, if I have Glenn in the party, Serge and Glenn can do 1700 damage in one hit. So, and these bosses have, even up to the end, have like 3,000 to 4,000 hit points. So until the second to last boss does have like 15,000. That's the first boss that took a little while, other than the bonus boss. So here's where things go disc 3 crazy again. It turns out Fate was not what we thought. The counter-time experiment failed and threw Chronopolis back in time 10,000 years. This is the time crash, which does sound like a Mystery Science Theater episode.
It does.
Okay, so far I'm with you. There was a science experiment.
Mm-hmm. That's what you saw the time
mm-hmm.
echoes doing.
Yeah, it went wrong, went back in time. Got it.
So Fate, the supercomputer, in an attempt to hide from the people of the past, created the El Nido Islands via terraforming and used records of Fate, the save points, to brainwash and control the people living there.
Okay, this I also understand because although it doesn't happen to us, the people of the islands talk about checking the record of Fate to, like, see what they should do that day.
Yep.
Oh,
throughout the events preceding the game, when Serge was taken to the Sea of Eden dying as a little kid, the Prometheus circuit was activated, which severed Fate from the frozen flame, which is a piece of Lavos, which was the power source of Fate. So
okay, hold up.
Yep.
This is where you're starting to lose me.
Okay, so the Prometheus circuit, I believe, was the essence of Robo that was used.
Essence of Robo? Is it like an essential oil?
Well, it's like his AI got inserted into the computer and then got deleted by Fate. So this is another instance of a beloved Chrono Trigger character dying off screen. of which there are several.
We know that there was a huge magnetic storm on the night that Serge and what's his name and Miguel went out. And I don't remember where they were going. I don't remember where they were supposed to go. I think they were supposed to be going to Marbule. And they got knocked off course, and a huge electric storm let them onto the island.
No. I gotta correct you, because the reason why they went out to sea was because Serge got attacked by a panther demon.
Yeah, and they were taking him to Marbule.
Yeah, taking him to Marbule. Yeah, but and then they got we'll find this out later. He got blown off course to Chronopolis, and then because the Chronopolis defenses were down because of the magnetic storm, Serge's father was able to take him to the frozen flame, and when Serge made contact with the frozen flame, it activated the Prometheus circuit, which is a device intended to lock anyone out of access to the frozen flame except for the frozen flame's arbiter, which is now Serge because he touched it.
And that's why Lynx needed to steal
His
Chronos
body.
Surge's form.
Okay.
Because it was the only way he could get in.
In order to gain access to the frozen
I'm
flame.
actually going to make kind of a suggestion here, which is that they're going to dump a lot of shit on us over the next few minutes of next couple hours of gameplay here. Maybe we just kind of talk about what actually happens in the game and save the kind of explanation for it all for like a kind of an all at once thing.
Okay.
Well,
Whatever's more digestible is a lot.
well, so Fate wasn't all bad because an alt dimension.
Yeah. Let me say it, John.
Okay.
So I can do it in the way Matt wants it done,
Okay.
which is
That's
to talk
not-
about
I
what
just wrote the
actually
notes.
happens.
Oh, okay.
Here it comes. So we defeat Fate, and then Harl is like, "Hey, you did it. You defeated Fate. That was a real bad thing to do because, as it turns out, those dragons, they freaking hate you.
Yeah.
Like, they think you suck.
Wait, our
Yeah.
buddy
super
dragons?
hard. Our buddy dragons,
They were so nice to us and cool
No.
for the most part.
they hate us because here's what happened. Way back in the past, there were these lizard people, and
The
they
Reptites
were
from
the
Chrono Trigger.
reptites, and they were all set to evolve
All right,
into
David
the
Icke.
dominant life on this planet. And then Lavos crashed down and was like, "I'm gonna take these monkeys and evolve them more than your reptites," and he did. Or Fate did it somehow.
Didn't the lava's crashing down caused like an ice age and killed off the dinosaurs and the reptiles?
Well, there's
Right.
that, and then they also say in Chrono Trigger that Lavos like manipulated the evolution of humanity in order to free himself faster, which is why Zeal created the Mammon machine.
Yeah, so after you defeat Fate, Fate was the only thing keeping the dragons from using their actual power in order to wipe out humanity, which is their goal. We get the
Yeah,
scene.
Fate had sealed away their power.
Yeah.
Fate is what it was one being, and Fate broke it into 7 dragons. No,
Whoa,
Fate
there's
broke
a
it into
7th dragon?
6 dragons.
There is
and
a seventh
they-
dragon.
Fate broke it into 6 dragons, and they created a 7th dragon.
Yes. So I don't know why Lynx wouldn't just tell us this. You know, be like, "Hey, don't defeat me because I am protecting humanity."
But Fate also wants to destroy. Fate wants to destroy the world as well, right?
I think Fate wants control of time, right?
I think Fate wants to create like Fate people and populate the planet with that.
I guess, but then
Like
there's
robots.
also like some kind of talk about some virus that Fate has that keeps trying
so-
to like do something good for humans.
That's
Well,
that's
it
the
says
robo
that-
virus.
It says Fate's design. I'm reading something off of a wiki. It said it is Fate's desire was to use the flame to reincarnate itself into a real and new living species.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, that's
Okay.
bad.
Vanessa,
Chrono Cross.
I like how Vanessa was like, I can do this, and immediately went off track.
No. Okay, here I go. So
You haven't even
we're
mentioned
standing there.
Dinopolis yet.
I don't need to do that.
No, it's
So
important.
we can.
It is important.
Yeah.
Fine, mention Dinopolis.
Okay, so there was a time track.
Have we learned about the time crash yet?
Yeah, we just did.
Yeah, so when the time crash happened when Balthazar tried to use the frozen flame to control time. But instead of controlling time,
Yeah,
it
the
threw
time control
Chronopolis
experiment
way
we
back
talked
into
about.
the past. And
Counter time experiment.
yeah, and I guess like the Earth or whatever needed to compensate for Chronopolis being in the wrong time by sending Dinopolis forward in time.
I think
And
it's
then-
No, Dinopolis is from like a future
Oh,
where
right.
the
So it
reptiles
co- so it
evolved, and I
throws-
think Lavos yanked it out
Yeah.
as a
Okay.
balance to
So-
Chronopolis.
Okay, so it throws Dinopolis back in time from an alternate dimension, and
A
then
timeline that
those-
got killed, and they're real
Yes.
mad about that.
and then those two, Chronopolis and Dinopolis, are like start fighting. And Chronopolis wins,
Yes.
and then
And
takes
Chronopolis
the
wins.
Dinopolis deity and splits it into six or 17 dragons.
There's a cool. I
Six
think it
or
was a cut scene,
17.
but maybe it was like a still scene. But there was a cool scene of like you see Dinopolis. It's Terra Tower. We're about to see it. And in the game, you see Dinopolis and you see a bunch of like jets from Chronopolis attacking it. And I was like, yeah, all right.
Now,
This is cool.
back when I was a kid, I think Dinopolis was like my third favorite Saturday morning ABC cartoon after like Turbo Teen and...
Which one was
Turbo
that?
Team?
Which one was Dinopolis?
I'm making that up. It just sounds like a
You're
Saturday
thinking
morning.
about dinosaurs on TGIF.
No, I'm thinking about...
You're thinking about Dinotopia, the popular series of books.
I'm thinking about Cadillacs
thinking
and
about Denver.
Dinosaurs, the comic
Oh, yeah.
/ cartoon series.
Just thinking about Denver, the last dinosaur. He's our
Oh,
friend,
I
and
used to
so
like that
much
show.
more.
That's
Was
true.
Cadillac the Last Dinosaur the one that basically had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle dinos, or was that a different one?
It had like a guy who looks like Bruce, what's his face from Evil Dead.
Bruce
Campbell.
And he was driving Cadillacs, but he was back in dinosaur times. It was stupid. Anyway,
So
like a
we're
real
we're
creationist
standing
show.
here in the Chronopolis. We've defeated fate. All the dragons come flying in, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna fucking kill you!"
we tricked you,
Yeah, they do.
Serge.
And something weird happens where Harley, like, I don't know, maybe it didn't. One of the dragons, like, looks like it bites the Sky Dragon, but then the Sky Dragon, like, sucks it in.
Yeah, he likes
They,
Yes.
like, merge.
It's not
Yeah.
that weird.
And then all
No.
the rest of the dragons kind of, like, flop
okay.
on, and they morph into, like,
Yeah, into a mega dragon.
into a mega dragon.
Yeah,
The
and then
dragon
Harl,
god.
Yeah, and then Harl is like, "Oh no, you killed the fate. I was sent here to bring you to kill the fate. I tried to tell you not do it, but you do it, and so now I will also merge into these dragons because I too am a dragon. I represent the smaller moon of the two moons. Goodbye forever."
Yeah. Goodbye. And then she dies on the way home to her home planet. On the
She
way back
gets
to her home
sucked
planet.
in with the other dragons. 'Cause she's their baby.
So we get rescued from the Fate Tower. Chronopolis is collapsing. We get rescued by the SS Invincible somehow.
And another tower rises, the Terra Tower.
The Terra Tower.
Which looks like
And
a
this is
big dragon.
Dinopolis.
What?
Yeah.
It looks like
Yeah. Terra Tower equals Dinopolis, right?
and it's a big dragon.
Kinda, I guess. I don't
It
know.
looks like a tower with like dragon wings,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, later
Yeah.
it grow ahead. But even that never seems to factor in. What happened there? Anyway,
It turned from one kind of dragon to a more different kind of dragon.
it was weird. So anyway, we do get rescued by the SS Invincible, and at this point, Kid is still missing. And
Well, you
we
did
need
see her.
to-
Did we mention we saw Kid inside Project Kid? She's like, "Oh, hello."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, yeah, oh, do you know what this is? Oh, goodbye." That's she touches the frozen flame, right?
Yeah, and then passes out.
Yeah, because she's like, "It's my dream to touch the frozen flame," and then Harl is like, "No, don't touch the flame," and
I don't remember that.
Yep.
Kid's like, "Oh, I'm gonna touch it."
Yeah.
and she does.
And then she passes out, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry, she won't remember it because nothing bad ever happens to Kid."
Yeah, but she does go into a coma.
So we need to get Kid is missing, and we need to figure out how to fly to Terra Tower. So then we decide to go to the Divine Dragon Falls, which are the little.
I don't know how we knew to do this.
The
other than a
guide told
guide.
me to go to Divine Dragon
Yeah.
Falls, which is a little waterfall by Arnie. Oh, how did Vanessa figure this out?
I also looked at a guide, I think. But I had been to the falls before, just exploring, so I'd seen the two
Pedestals.
altars.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how you would know to go there otherwise.
Right.
Well, it's a little waterfall north of Arnie Village, and if you head there,
And you have to have
There's
Stina in your party.
you don't have to have Stina in your party. There are two
Oh, well, she
altars.
tells you what they do. Maybe.
Yeah, she shows up.
Oh.
There are two altars, one for the Tear of Love. Remind me what the tears were. It was the Dragon's Tear, and that's what
Yeah,
Link's used to
in
body
both-
swap us?
In both, because you have two of them, because there's one in both the realities, right?
But what are they? What is it? Just a MacGuffin?
Yes.
No, it's broken bits of the dragon's tear.
Yeah, but what's the Dragon's Tear?
That's what was used to seal the dragons into the prison of El Nido.
That's why they cry.
Then why aren't they
It
released
says
until we kill Fate?
this-
That doesn't make sense.
This wiki says, crafted by Dragonians prior to the Antiquity era, it later fell into the hands of mortals, said to allow its possessor to switch bodies with another person
That's
or
it?
being. The
Stupid.
dragon tier was given to Chief Diarrhea in Goldove as a gift and was
Diarrhea.
believed to unlock the mysteries at Fort Dragonia.
Anyway, so we have the Tier of Hate and the Tier of Love, the two broken dragon tiers from the two timelines, and you put them on the pedestals, and it gives you the Chrono Cross.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, guys, they said the title.
They said the title.
Yeah.
And it's an
Chrono
equipable
Cross.
item that you can use in
It's
like
equipable
level
element.
1, or it doesn't matter. Just put it in a level 1 slot because you'll need it later.
I didn't realize that actually, so I had it in like 8 the whole time, and I feel dumb. If I'd had it in 1, I could have just, because it does do something. It like refreshes the rest of the party's elements.
Oh, well, that's useful. Yeah, you can put it in whatever slot. So next up, you go to Hermit's Hideaway, and Kid is there in a coma. And I think depending on if you have Masamune or if you have the Chrono Cross, you get a little bit of a different cutscene if you don't have
Yeah.
Masamune, because in one, Chrono Cross will help you go to the other time, but in the much better version, your very special boys, Masa and Mune, show up like ghosts. Well, you sort of hear their voiceover and decide to help you with Doreen's help. And now remember
Yeah,
before
at first
we were
they're
like,
too hard, and then Doreen shows up again and is like, come on, assholes.
so I don't remember Doreen at all, but Vanessa remembers Doreen.
I don't remember Doreen at all, but Jim remembers Doreen.
Oh,
We got an email about it.
I don't remember Doreen, but when I hear her name, I just hear the song Jolene in my head.
but one thing I have noticed since you equip the Master Mune, Masamune shows up in Serge's special attacks as like
Yeah.
a big chonky boy, my special
Like a
boy.
ghost.
He's a very good boy, and I'm very happy to see his dumb chonky self in every special attack with Serge. I love
So,
you, Masamune.
Masa and Mune and Doreen send Serge and his party back in time to save Kid, unless you don't have the Master Mune, I guess, and then it just sends, or maybe it's if you don't have the Chrono Cross, one of them.
You
it
have
just
to have the Chrono
sends-
Cross, but you don't have to have the Master Mune.
Gotcha. It just sends, in that case, it'll just send Serge back. But anyway, this is
I would
probably
like-
Jim's
I have
favorite
a-
scene in the game.
I have a special request, and that's for Jim to tell us what happens here.
Yeah, I was about to suggest
Are
something.
we on the beach now?
No, bud,
No.
we're at Luca's fucking orphanage.
Oh, no. You guys have to explain this. This part confuses me, actually.
All right,
Okay,
so
well,
this
Masa
is
and Mune and Doreen send you back in time to Luca's orphanage. Smash cut, it's on fucking fire.
and it's the
Gato the robot literally dies right in front of your fucking eyes.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. But, like, are you to understand that, like, who is responsible for this? That's the thing that I miss.
Lynx.
For burning it.
Lynx did it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because he wanted, so he did
He
this because he
kidnaps
wanted
Luca.
Luca to deactivate the Prometheus circuit,
I guess.
which was preventing him from getting to the frozen flom.
And then I presumably killed her when she didn't do it.
Presumably?
Well, yeah. Okay, so this
She didn't
is
show back up.
what's cool here is it's such a close design to the Super. It almost looks like they took the Super Nintendo graphics, but I think they did like a little bit of a touch up to it. But it's amazing. Like I
Yeah.
love that it is just this level from Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, you're visiting the old house. You can find children if you like look under furniture and things like that, and
I
save
don't know
them.
what you guys are talking about. Was this orphanage in Chrono Trigger?
Yeah, it's Lucas' house.
It's Luca's house, yeah.
Yeah,
is
it
it?
wasn't an orphanage at the time,
Yeah.
but it's definitely her house.
Oh.
It's where
okay.
Tabin and her mom lived.
And that's why you find out that the code, but now it's updated for PlayStation controls. Now you can still type the word Lara in and get, I believe you get Kid's level 7 ability in that
Is it Lara? Why would it be Lara?
because that's the name of
That's
Luca's
the name
mom.
of Luca's mom. And so, like, when you're trying to save Luca's mom by going back in the past in Chrono Trigger, it's Lara. So they
Gotcha.
needed a name you could spell with the SNES controller.
Well, so they do. You, as John says, you do type in Laura and you get the hot shot.
No,
which
it's
is
Lara.
Fucking, excuse me, Lara, and you get the hot shot, which is Kids level 7 tech, and it's awesome. a giant cannon
It's
giant
great.
sci-fi cannon falls from the sky and lands next to her, and she kicks it.
Yeah.
And it shoots the shit out of people. It's so much damage. Anyway, Gatto dies right in fucking front of you. You start saving all these kids. You know, somebody tells you to go get Luca's ice gun to put out the fire, which you can do.
That's super cool. This is I think the most well integrated part.
What?
Like,
Yeah.
it is.
Burn down Luca's house and kill Gatto in front of you for no reason.
Yeah,
you
but
do
no,
see,
like this has bearing on the plot though.
I think this is a
the other
good
stuff-
sequel
the-
thing.
Yeah, the other stuff doesn't. Like a dead Johnny on the side of the road. Like
Yeah.
that's just shitty. Like this has weight to the plot.
But so we know that at the end, and I'll just say it here: you rescue the kids, and then you save young baby kid with the ice gun.
Young
and it
baby
turns
kid.
out there's no body for Luca. She was kidnapped, which I don't think we knew at this point. Lynx kidnaps her. So here's my question: she never shows up in the game. Why the fuck not?
But you
That
do
would at
see
least
her.
put like tie a ribbon on this and be like, hey,
Okay, he
fucking...
doesn't kidnap her. They say he kills her several times.
No, he kidnaps her.
No,
No, he does kidnap her. He does
really?
he
kidnap her.
kidnaps her.
But you
There's
do
no
see her
body there,
glasses
John.
on the floor, which was very
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah.
He kidnaps her, but then presumably killed her when she couldn't do what he wanted. But why not be like, so I had a captor this whole time, and here she is. She's back. She's happy to see everybody. At least at the end of the game, you get, there's somebody from the game that I
Wouldn't
know
that
and I
have been
love.
dope if they
that's
made Luca a
talking to
party
me.
member at the end of the
Oh my
game?
god, fuck this game. Stupid game. I love
If
this game.
Luca would have been a party member at the end of the game, that would have been great.
Yeah.
That would have been great. Great.
Like an old Luca,
like an
Missed
older
opportunity.
Luca.
I
with, like, white hair.
feel like there's a fan theory that I'm going to develop here because then you get to an awake kid and Radius says to go see Lucia in Viper Manor because she has a sad letter from Luca. Then why can't this evil Lucia actually be Luca? Because she seems to have contact with Luca.
And basically the same name.
It's basically the same name. It's just like she doesn't want to admit she's Luca because she turned evil. And she's
It's
the
like,
right
Honestly,
age,
it would have
too.
been hilarious if you walked up to her and instead of handing you a letter, she like took off a wig and put
Yeah,
on glasses,
or,
and you were like,
she
"Oh
was-
shit!"
She was wearing like a mustache, and she's like, "I'm not a Luca, I'm a Lucia."
I am putting on real accent. I am definitely real from Germany and not Luca.
But instead, you go get this letter from Lucia, and it's like this crazy, sad letter of like, "Kid, if I'm dead, read this. I hope you grew up to be a strong young woman. I got fucking murdered."
Stop being so mask. You gotta be femme, because that's the only way to live. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, she's like, I was a butch girl, and Chrono chose Marl instead of me. So don't be
Marley?
like me. Put on a dress and put a ribbon in your goddamn hair.
Great.
So then there's some non-optional optional shit. You gotta get Starkey.
You can tell John's reading my notes.
I am.
He's talking to John. You don't talk like that.
Okay.
You got to read it in a Matt voice. Time for some non-optional optional shit. This is some optional shit that we did early in the game, and now it's like, but now you got to do it.
Yeah.
You have to get Starkey in your party. You have to take him to another world. Early on, when you got him in your party, you promised him, hey, maybe we can find your ship all in one piece in another world. And now you have to go do that because you got to get that spaceship.
It's in that annoying triangle thing.
Tornado triangle.
Which, with all those fish that attack you, but now you can destroy them, so it's not so bad.
And I like how you go and you get it, and then Starkey is like, actually, only I can fit in the spaceship. And he says
Even though
this,
you're standing in the spaceship
yeah,
when he
you're
says
standing in there with him, and he's like, this is only for flying one person. So, sucks to suck. But then I guess they tie it to the boat?
One
They
thing
take-
Starkey takes the anti-grav drive out of the
Right.
ship and puts it on the boat. And I assume that because it's just picking up a little piece of wood and 3 people and not a huge chunk of metal, it's able to do that.
I don't
and
want
then
to
they name
skip.
the flying boat the Epoch.
I don't want to skip something here.
Neo-epoch, right?
Starkey does tell you Starkey's bed is nice and cozy too. And I'm like, okay, Starkey, I appreciate the offer, but you're not my type. I'm not interested. No, thank you.
Yeah. And then
Starkey just
Starkey's like-
saying.
Yeah. Starkey digs around and he's like, Starkey has other stuff and we'll come back for it later. So I did like try to go back and get the stuff and he didn't get anything.
Yeah, he
I
did.
don't know if I...
He gets his level 7 attack or something.
If you
Oh, I
reopen
guess I
that
went
thing that he
back
pulled
at
the
the wrong
anti-grav
time.
drive
Yeah,
out
you
of.
have to go stand in that panel in the middle and then hit X.
Okay.
Yeah. But he does have another item. I forget what it was.
So now your boat can fly. Kid is back alive and well and kicking. Let's talk about Final Parties, gang. Who did you take with you for the final assault?
Kid and Glenn. Kid because I feel
Of
like
course.
she's the most important narrative character, so she should be along. And Glenn,
Hotshot makes her worth keeping with you for sure. And she's got a shitload of slots.
yeah. And Glenn because Glenn's got X Strike, and X Strike is amazing.
I brought Surge and Kid. I just kind of liked Surge. I ended up using him a lot. I had his level 7 tech. I liked
you
it.
have to.
What are you talking about? You have to bring Surge.
I'm sorry. Fargo. I took Fargo along. I like his level 7 tech a lot. I liked his level 5 tech, and I liked how there were a lot of blue cures. And I had a bunch of cure alls that I got around now, which were really strong cure whole party spells. So he was pretty dope. And also he could steal stuff. Though at this point in the game I wasn't stealing much. All right, so we head to Chrono.
I brought
Oh, you're right. I'm so sorry. You and Jim.
Shala and Starkey, which
Shala?
is that her name?
No.
The priestess woman?
No.
Stina.
Stina. I brought Stina and Starkey, which makes an all-white character party. Not
White innate is the word you're looking for.
sorry, an all-white innate party, which is probably not the best strategic move, but they are powerful and I liked them. And Jim, please tell who you brought.
I didn't play this far in the game yet.
Jim spoiled the game with like 3 hours of
thanks.
YouTube videos, but didn't finish the game.
That's
What a
true.
dork.
He was
I'll
too
get
busy
there.
finishing Fable 2, our next game.
I've already
Yeah, he
finished
was
Fable
busy
2. That's
fucking
true.
You fully fit. Whatever. That was weeks ago. So it's time to head to Terra Tower. And Terra Tower is... I like Terra Tower. Terra Tower is like all stone, carved stone stairs and passages and stuff with like coral growing all over the place and water. And it was really neat, I thought. I liked it a lot. It's a tower, so you kind of have to... You fly up it, but you have to fly to get into it, but then you still have to head up kind of the whole time. It's a little long.
I did like
But
that
there's-
it does the like Squaresoft thing of the ominous map music doesn't end when you get into battles. It just keeps going.
Oh yeah.
No,
Yes.
that is cool. I like that.
And
I
there are
thought that
little
the-
blobby wobbies.
I thought that in the battle arena, I guess, like the combat arena animations or whatever environments looked really awesome here. Like they just really, this whole area is fantastic looking. And there are 6 bosses, 1 for each color. This is the second time this game's done this to us.
Yes, and it gives you, if you pay attention to the bosses in the order you fight them, it gives you a little hint about how to use the Chrono Cross for real.
Because
And plays a little song.
it does play a little song, and you'll notice if you have the Chrono Cross equipped, you start getting these like lights and tones that shine when people use elements.
Yeah, icons start appearing at the top of the screen for each color element, and you're like, what's that? And then you spend like 10 minutes looking it up and being like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, because each icon plays a different note as well. So blue
Also-
is like dough, and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so interesting. I thought that the bosses all looked cool. They're all like Gravitor and Aquator and stuff, Pyrotor and stuff like that. And they're all like robot-y. Some of them were like Centauri, and some of them were like
Trolls
Mech-y.
World Tour.
Yeah, Trolls World Tour,
Minotaur,
Hard Rock Tier, Country Tier, and
Harry Potter.
The beat drop button.
the beat drop button. Thank you, Vanessa. At one point, when you're kind of wandering through Terra Tower, you kind of stumble into Viper Manor. and you do cross that bridge again, and with the moon shining behind it again, that is an homage to Chrono Trigger for like the 5th fucking time in this game, and it's like, okay, Chrono Cross, we get it. This is what you liked from Chrono Trigger, was this fucking scene. Not the characters, that's for sure, because
Sure
you
as shit
killed
didn't
them.
like Gato either.
Sure as shit didn't like Gato. Anyway, but there's, we don't have to spend too much time here because, frankly, it's just a long-ass dungeon with a whole shitload of bosses.
And then at the top, the final boss of the game.
Bum, bum, bum. It's the Time Devourer. All the dragons have combined into a crazy dragon monster that wants to totally destroy all of humanity because Chrono and then changed time and that fucked up.
This isn't the Time Devourer, is it?
They're both the Time Devourer, Jim.
Yeah, everything's the Time Devourer.
Everything's the Time Devourer. This is the Time Devourer. It's the dragon. And you fight it. What did we think, gang, of the final boss of the game? It's big, like, it kind of looked like, I had it in my mind earlier. It kind of looked like Sin mixed with, like...
It's a whale.
Something else, yeah. It's a whale. It's a
just
sky
a whale. Yeah,
It's got wings. It's got big old chunky.
Yeah, it's true.
Too big to
It's
actually
like,
do anything wings.
It's like a whale dragon. It cycles through element affinities.
And like locations, which is great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It cycles you through locations. So, like, at one point, you're fighting in, like, a Hydra Marshes type area and then, like, a Mount Pyre type area. That was cool.
It was all the
get
areas you
sucked
fought
through
the
a portal
boss
each time.
dragons in.
That makes sense.
There's a fight in Chrono Trigger like that, right? Like, isn't it with, like, doesn't the fight with Magus do that?
Sure.
Anyways.
Yes.
You would know.
Yep.
Anyway, he cycles through all the elements, and some of them are easier than others. But I don't know. Like, once again, gang, this fight took a while, but it was easy. Like, the most difficult thing. No, it's easy. The most difficult thing is, like, I did have to use a couple of heals. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah.
I was reading online that with any boss in the game, you can use the diminish spell at the beginning, which has all element damage.
I definitely
and then just
did that
wail,
for this fight. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just wail on every boss until it's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with that, Jim, is that it also diminishes your elements. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So all your most powerful spells don't do nearly as much damage.
But
so it turns
you've got
every
the Master
fight into
Mune,
a
which does
super slog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I did not diminish. I just fought it. I did diminish on one once. I don't remember which one. I mentioned it maybe last episode. Maybe it was the Black Dragon or one of the dragons. And it took so long. I was like, fuck that. I'll give it a shot. And if I'm dying, you can run away. And I try again.
Even the last boss of the game you can run away from.
Well, I had to run away from him like 6 times, but we'll talk about that. Excuse me. This is the final boss of the game.
Yeah, I almost didn't beat this guy. I was down to just Surge and
Wow.
very low health. I was all out of revives, but I did it.
Yay.
Yay.
Well,
So then after you've defeated this boss, he's like, oh yeah, well, Lynx was your dad, so screw you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lynx was fucking Wazuki, your fucking dad. So
Yeah.
I can explain this. When you touched the frozen flame, your dad kind of made a deal with it, and he says that he managed to escape, and that for a while, like because he's around for like another year after that, he fought it. But then it did eventually take him over, and it turned him into the image of the thing that almost killed his son, the panther, which is why he looks like though. But then why is he a lynx?
Because they call his name is Lynx, but he's like a human panther hybrid.
He's not. He's not a panther.
No, he looks
at least
like
the
a
panther
leopard.
demon is black with black fur, and this guy Lynx is
kind of
like
adorable.
light colored and kind of like speckled, and like he looks great. I want to pet him.
Well, he's a hybrid.
Okay.
A white man
Okay.
and a panther demon.
So we defeat the Time Devourer, but it is not over. The Frozen Flame tells Surge to go to the place where time became divided and weave the threads back together again. And then the Prophet shows up and gives you the time egg?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you need a time egg, which the time egg is the one thing I didn't really understand in Chrono Trigger. Like I know it's just a thing you have to use. Like they don't really explain. I think they call it untapped potential.
Yeah.
Is what they call the Chrono Trigger. or the time egg got him. Whatever, it's a time egg. But
Well, the prophet comes and he says that he is Balthazar, right?
Yeah.
yes. So remember, like when Zeal crashed, Balthazar got sent to the future, and the future is really shitty because Lavos destroyed everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you beat Lavos and Chrono Trigger, that future gets restored. So Balthazar actually gets sent to like a high-functioning, futuristic, like utopian society, and that's where he has the resources to build Chronopolis. And that's how all this gets started.
And he also built a time machine, which is why you find he built his own version of the Epoch, and that's what you find in the tower basement.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
and
it
so he
wasn't our
takes it back in
epoch
time.
after all.
He takes it back in time to, get all this El Nido stuff happening.
Yeah, because he wants to be where the surge is.
Yes.
I want to be where the surge is.
Also where Kid is.
All right, so we head back to El Paso Beach to go fucking fight the final. All right, so what happened is we killed the Time Devourer's physical being in this dimension, but they tell us that it still exists in like its own dimension in the what they call the dark. At the end of time, or
Right.
Yeah,
And
she's in
also,
this-
it's Lavos, sort of.
what?
What?
Yeah, so what we see in Chrono Trigger is
Oh, it is.
So
Yes.
when Lavos wakes up because of the Mammon machine at in the scene where Chrono gets killed, it never says what happened to Shala, who's present at that time. What you
Yeah, I remember that.
What you learn is that Shala fuses with
Who is
Lavos.
Shala?
She was the
is
Princess of Zeal.
in
Do you remember the
Magus's
city
sister.
of Zeal in Chrono Trigger that was like the magic city that was
I
tapping
remember.
Lavos' power?
Yeah. So she's Magus's sister, who's like Matt said, the Princess of Zeal. When all of that happens, and Chrono gets saved and all that stuff, there's like an alternate history or whatever, and in it, Shala fuses with Lavos and becomes a time devourer, a being that can, I guess, like eat space time.
I thought it would be more body
The-
horror and not more Shala's in a big glass case on top. of it.
Yeah, she's in a glass
Shala's
egg.
also blonde in Lavos when she clearly has like blue hair like Magus in
Yeah.
Chrono
Magus.
Trigger.
Yeah.
And she seems younger, too.
Yeah.
All right. So we go to El Paso Beach in Homeworld, and there is a new dimensional rift. It's purple instead of green. And the Chrono babies are there again.
Chrono
And
babies.
little Luca reveals some real fucking wild shit. This is where Luca tells us that Kid is actually the daughter clone of Shala.
Daughter
Shala,
clone.
Princess of Zeal, who got stuck in the darkness beyond time.
Sorry, what? She's the
and
what?
She's the Princess of Zeal,
No,
who
no.
was
But what do they call her?
sucked through a temporal vortex into the darkness beyond time, where she
hang on a second.
merged with a defeated
Yeah.
Lavos and became the Time
Well,
Devourer. But
right.
then
Lavos was not
the
defeated in
timelines-
antiquity. He was just
Okay.
avoided.
But I think that what John is asking is, John, she is the daughter clone.
Sorry, pardon?
She's the
Excuse me,
daughter clone.
Shala is not a daughter clone. Kid is.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Kid is
Kid-
the daughter clone of Shala. A daughter clone is when you want a child, but you don't want gross male DNA mucking up your kid.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
You just you clone yourself, and you carry your own clone to term and give birth to the clone.
this makes sense to me. I don't see the problem.
Yeah. You take one of your eggs, and you're like, instead of fertilizing this with a outside party, I'm just gonna grow it into a baby.
I think this game needs to tell me more about sperm. Is that going to happen?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Kid is the daughter clone of Shala, the Princess of Zeal from Chrono Trigger. She
So
was
is that
sucked
like
into
a
the mental
sister
vortex when
wife?
Zeal was destroyed in Chrono Trigger, where she merged with
Not
the defeated
at all.
Lavos.
Okay.
Lavos corrupted her, and because Lavos wanted to destroy everything, so it corrupted Shala. But part of Shala still wanted to save everything. So when the times were split, when the timeline split, which was when Surge Touch the
drowned.
frozen flame?
No, when Surge was murdered.
When Surge was murdered. Oh, that's right. When Surge was murdered, the timeline split, and Shala created a daughter clone of herself.
Sorry, what?
I guess via Project Kid? Is that right?
No, Project Kid was the like basically like the manipulation observation experiment set up by Balthazar in order to make sure that Kid hooked up with Surge in order to get all this
Gotcha.
to happen.
Gotcha. Okay. So she makes herself a daughter clone.
Yeah.
And
John, you've heard of Dolly the sheep, right?
Yes.
Sends her to
For
live
sheep
in
clones?
Luca's
So she did that.
orphanage.
Okay.
And I don't know. She creates a clone of herself that's free of Lavos' influence, which I guess she does when she's free of Lavos' influence is when she hears Surge crying after being attacked by the Panther Demon and dying.
Right.
This somehow stirs her to
Motherly instinct.
action
Yeah.
because his cry is so loud across the universe. And then when
Well, here's
she
the
causes
deal
the
with
electrical
that.
storm that knocks Fate
You're missing a very
offline.
important part.
I mean, I'm trying to get through a lot.
Here, why Surge being attacked by the Panther Demon is so important is that, every multiverse theory, every action branches off into a different action. But I guess in this world, it's like whatever the most probable thing is, that becomes the actual reality. But in the case of Surge, there was a 50-50 chance that the Panther would kill him. And I guess it's the only 50-50 event in history.
The only reason he was saved was because Shala, as the Time Devourer, existed outside of time and altered the timeline by creating the magnetic storm that blew them to Chronopolis. So otherwise, he probably would have died or would have been saved. I don't think it would have mattered. But because the timeline was interfered with by the Time Devourer, that's what started getting things super fucked up.
So then it became both. He both lived and died. He was like Schrodinger's cat.
He lived because of the frozen flame, but Fate wanted to remanipulate the timeline using the frozen flame, but it couldn't because Surge was now the arbiter. So he turned Wazuki into Lynx. Wazuki is Surge's dad, into Lynx, and then drowned him. But that split the timelines.
Yes. So
because
Wazuki
he was
killing
saved and
Surge split the timelines.
Yes.
Wazuki Lynx.
Do
Fuck,
the
man.
Wazuki. What do you
Of course,
do?
this is, this also, the cry and Shala being, shaking loose the hold of Lavos a little bit is what allows her to cause the magnetic storm that kills the power systems of Chronopolis for the time so that Surge can touch the frozen flames and become the arbiter. And that activates the Prometheus circuit, which is Robo, and locks Fate away from the frozen flame.
Yes.
This game is fucking. This goes crazy, and I'll do a little aside here that's not about this because I gotta take a break from talking about it for a second. Again, seriously, why do all of these games have to fucking have a bunch of twists like they're M. Night Shyamalan movies? Can we just get a good story and not one that's 95% sci-fi nonsense, batshit sci-fi nonsense twists?
Well, it's like they introduce a whole other game right in the last 5% of this one.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So you use the time egg on the new Rift after talking to the Chrono kids who all basically tell you to fuck yourself.
The Chrono kids are all. It's like
It's
Kojima
not
wrote their
Chrono.
dialogue.
Yeah.
They all talk like Metal Gear characters. Where I think Chrono's first lines are, "Where angels even lose their way," and it's one, Chrono, you're not supposed to say anything because you're Chrono, and then
Okay.
two, what are you talking about?
No, you can't say that. You went on a 10-minute rant about how the first thing Chrono says in the entire series is
he calls you a murderer.
And we're not talking about that again either, Jim. So anyway, you use the time egg in the new Rift, and it takes you into the darkness beyond time, where we face the real Time Devourer, and it is like a spiky flower with a crystal egg with a princess inside. It's pretty fucking stupid. I mean, it looks good, but it's weird. And there are 2 ways to beat The Time Devourer gang, and there's a good and a bad ending. And then there's 10 other endings, which I didn't even read about, and I will not talk about. I won't do it. There are 2 endings here. Did anybody get the bad ending?
No.
Oh, I thought Vanessa did.
I kind of thought John would. Intentionally. You do weird stuff like that. You killed kid. All right, well, there's 2 ways to do this, and we'll talk about the first one first.
Okay.
You can fight it. You can kill it. You can beat it. And if you do, the game ends, and it implies, or I read somewhere that it implies, that Surge also merges with the Time Devourer. The game ends there, I believe. I don't think that anything else happens. It implies that Surge also merges with the Time Devourer and Shala, creating its final form and going on to wipe out all life in the universe.
Oh. Imagine you didn't know about the Chrono Cross stuff and got that ending and thought that was the real ending to the game.
It just faded to black?
Yeah.
That would be great. Alternately, you can equip the Chrono Cross and go through this whole fucking crazy thing where you use an element of each color in a specific order and hope it doesn't get interrupted by the boss. And then use the Chrono Cross, which... It starts talking about how each element has a certain sound and that tune will, like, heal Shala or, like, separate her from Lava.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like the frequencies.
But you
It's like
have to
hitting
play
a big tuning fork.
Yellow, red, green, blue, black, white, which I did have to run away from this battle about 5 times because it kept interrupting me with... It kept interrupting me. It was making me crazy.
I figured it out eventually. I got it to work. Like, you have to basically make sure everything... Start it the second he did a big attack, and then only use level 1, and then you have just enough time to get all 6. Out.
And then I think, because I messed up, actually, and you can... if you do play all 6, he actually just kind of sat there because I did have to build Surge up.
Right, because you didn't put
up to
Chrono
level
Cross
8.
into level 1.
And I put it in level 8, and so I kept having to defend with the other 2 and just attack with him. And I really thought it was going to attack me, and it just sat there. It was a long time. I was shocked. It takes a while using 1 attacks. Anyway, you play it in order, and this frees, and then you use the Chrono Cross element. This frees Shala.
In the greatest cutscene in the game.
Y'all can describe this because I don't even know.
She's in like a bubble. Well, like before the cutscene even starts, this is still like in game. She's in like a bubble and like slowly floating towards the party. While the song
like Glinda,
plays.
the Good Witch.
That's the hilarious part to me. But then you get this. I wouldn't even call it a cutscene. It's a text scroll.
Yeah, it's a text scroll. She just starts talking.
Yeah,
and this is the end of the game.
About cum.
I felt like it was a real anticlimactic ending.
No,
she just
it was
talks
very
about cum
climactic
for a while
because it's so much cum talk.
And then there's some nonsense in the credits, and that's fucking it. That's it. This is my proposal, John. You asked me the other day what we should do for our November episode for Patreon, and I think we should all come up with a sequel to this game.
A sequel to this game?
Yes, as a sequel and a trilogy, like to finish the Chrono trilogy.
Okay.
We should all come up with a sequel and pitch it. And I mentioned that.
I've already got some great ideas bubbling in here.
So anyway, Jim, will you tell us what she tells us here?
I read this multiple times and like I had trouble staying with it. But like it's the first half of it is a lot of like philosophizing about why do people live? Why do people die? Are there these certain organisms that change fate? Are we all just pawns in the story of these organisms that change? Are we all just spermatozoa on the and the planet is an egg? And it's like
don't sleep on that, okay? I took a picture of that fucking scene just so I could read it. The eggs, the quote eggs that we call planets, and the innumerable spermatozoa which gather around these that we call life forms. When one of those countless seeds inseminates a planet, a new universe is born.
What?
Yeah, that's what it says. I don't know.
Yeah, so she's saying that no, we aren't pawns because every one of us can have a very specific role in changing the course of our futures. And that each one of us is necessary for the future that is coming.
So basically, it does what kind of a lot of these JRPGs do, and a lot of Western RPGs, I guess. I guess it's an RPG thing, which is that at the end, when it has to kind of explain itself, it just kind of goes, nonsense! And throws up its hands and fucking walks away. We're all fucking cum, okay? Don't worry about it.
I don't.
The babysitter's fine.
I think it mentions the daughter clone in this monologue again.
They were nothing. It was a hit and run.
There's like nothing. What else does she say? That like, okay, so she says Serge is gonna wake up and he's gonna have no memory of what happened. Mm-hmm. So
yes, she tells us that Serge is gonna wake up and he's not gonna have any memory of what happened. So after everything that happened, the end of the game is nothing happened.
But like, there's also another thing from who you presume to be Kid, where it's like, I'll find you. Wherever you are in the world, I'll find you.
Kid and Shala at this point, I think, kind of merge because it's Shala talking, but she starts talking like Kid.
Yeah, and this didn't make sense to me because earlier in the game,
Kid was like, I'm my own person.
Yeah, Kid's like, I don't want to merge with Shala. I want to live my own life. And Luca's like, I bet Shala would want that too.
Yeah,
but like, kind of both things happen. Like, because you see Kid presumably marry Serge later, but then you also see Shala, who I think is Shala in modern times.
Yeah,
so
in
during
live
the credits,
action FMV.
Live action of. I mean, it's what I read called her Kid.
It's that's what I thought.
I mean, I think it's either way. I think it's all Kid. But anyway, of like walking through Tokyo because she says, "I'll find you. We'll meet again, and maybe you won't know I'm me, and I won't know you're you, but we'll meet each other again anywhere, anytime." And then the credits roll, and it shows her walking around fucking Tokyo.
Except you're supposed to guess that it's Kid, even though she's got like heiress hair and a big bow.
Well, because it shows her a little bit at the end, and she has put on a dress and a ribbon.
Yeah,
well, but that happens after this scene.
It does.
Does it? I
But
thought
like,
this scene
I
was
think
the
that's
very
the last thing
No.
you see is Kid on the beach in the dress.
I watched it today.
Okay.
The last thing you see is Kid now on a beach in a white dress, looking like she's at Opasa Beach or something, with that red ribbon in her hair. That's the end of the game.
How many
how
Square games end with their lady character in Tokyo? At least 2. I know there's
Wait,
2.
which other
at
one
least
did?
3.
What other one did?
For sure.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Final
I guess.
Fantasy 13 3.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't Kingdom Hearts 3 end with Tokyo?
Yes.
Or with Shibuya or something? And it's a tie-in to
The World
something
Ends
else?
With You, yeah.
So at least 3 that you can that we can think of off the top of our head that end with the girl character walking around Tokyo.
Well, and the reason she does this is when she was saying, I'm going to find you, she didn't mean Serge. She meant you, the player.
Yeah, they do put you in
gosh.
quotations. They do put you in quotations when they say it.
Yeah, so she's like frickin' after us.
Oh.
This is fourth
that's like
wall
Ringu,
breaking.
but a game.
She is stalking us.
Yeah, this is Ringu. We should never have finished this.
No, this is bad.
She's going to come and murder us all. Don't play this game.
Well, and also, we won't even know it's her.
Why not? She's got a big bow.
Well, she says you won't know it's me.
Oh, that's true.
She could be anyone.
Just don't trust any women.
With big bows?
Yeah, it's a real weird ending. So there's a lot of talk about sperm, modern day, Square, how many keep doing this, Square, you suck, the end. We fucking did it, gang. We did it.
What a game. I want to know what everybody thinks about it.
Did we get through all the nonsense about the plot? Did it make sense? Listeners, write in and tell us if that made any fucking sense.
Should I, like, in one breath try to explain the whole thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I needed to get a
One
beer,
breath.
so now's a great time.
Take a deep breath.
All right. So when the timeline gets restored and Balthazar goes to the future, and it's a good future, he decides to try to see if he can control time using the frozen flame, and it goes bad and it causes a time crash, and he gets thrown back in time, but also Dinopolis also gets thrown back in time, but Dinopolis gets defeated, and I'm out of breath already. I didn't even make it through like a fifth of it.
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. And then I actually don't know how this Dinopolis stuff ties into the regular.
Well, because
part.
before Lavos crashed, there was a timeline where the dinosaurs evolved into humans and would have had their own city in the future that would have been called Dinopolis.
But like they got thrown back in time. But like, what happens after Chronopolis defeats Dinopolis? It splits up the dragons.
Yeah, to seal the power of the dragons, it splits the one big dragon into 7 little dragons.
Okay, just since I sat down, I've heard you take several breaths, Jim. So
yeah, but hold on. We're close to summing this up, I think. So you also learn that Balthazar creates the El Nido archipelago because he needs to figure out the time crash thing, because when he creates Fate in the future, he learns that Shala merged with Lavos to create the Time Devourer, which was eventually going to eat up all of space-time. Mm-hmm.
But also, Chronopolis got thrown back in time and didn't want to get discovered by the primitive people, so it had to hide by turning the Sea of Eden into like a crazy impassable thing, and then it terraformed a bunch of other land for people to go live on.
Yeah. And then what Balthazar also learns is that when Shala merged with Lavos, she had a daughter clone that was given to Luca in the present and he called it Kid. So he created Project Kid, which was this big thing where he was going to manipulate the people in El Nido in order to eventually usher Kid towards this, like setting all these plot things in motion in order to make contact with the Time Devourer in order to like free Shala from Lavos and save the space-time continuum.
And we did it.
And we did it through Surge being... we're not going to explain that whole Surge thing again. That's the plot of the game.
Blanked out for all of that. The end. Hey, you know what we had this time? We had a bullshit minigame.
It was playing
it's
as
time
a
for
little...
John's bullshit minigame corner.
You're a robot, and you're controlling a robot. You can open some chests. There's no real problem doing this, but it's fun.
It is fun. He zips around like a little robot, and sometimes he dump into the deep water, and he float away and die.
Mm-hmm. But then you get a new robot.
A new robot pops up.
Mm-hmm. That says, "Father, why?"
Hey, I do appreciate a Final Fantasy-style PS1 RPG that does not have 7,000 shitty minigames.
Why robots?
Oh, they didn't try to jam a card game in? You know they would have jammed a card game into Chrono 3.
Mm-hmm. Not if we design it.
Write that down. Yes.
There is going to be dating mechanics.
Question.
Vanessa has a question. What's your question, Vanessa?
Are you squarely for this game? Or are you
Well, hold on.
roundly against it?
Hold on. I also did the Grand Slam and got Bunny Girl.
Oh!
Wow,
cool.
How did that go?
Good for
How was
you,
Bunny
John.
Girl? What was her innate element ability, color?
I never used her. She wasn't
what
very
the
good.
fuck, John?
She wasn't very good. I just wanted to get her. I'm sorry.
It's fun.
I also got her like super skill ability, but I never used it.
I actually stopped collecting those towards the end of the game. Like, the guide kept telling me to go off and do them, and I would be like, so I have to do the Hydro Marshes again, and I'll get fucking somebody's level 7 tech that I'm not going to put in my party? You know what? I'm okay.
Anyway, so Vanessa, what was your question again?
Well, hang on. Where are we playing to next time?
Ooh.
Next time we're gonna play Fable 2. It's our first episode in our Fable 2 series, and we are playing to the beginning of the ritual mission.
So that's where you
Right.
got to the temple in Oakvale?
That's your first hero mission.
Okay.
All right, I'm excited. I hope we're all excited for Fable 2. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Jim
Well-
liked it so much, he already fucking finished it.
I've already done all the optional stuff too.
I am going to have to figure
moving on to
out
the DLC.
how to transfer
us.
my save game from a 360 to a Series X. Because
I'm just
that-
going to
put
start
that-
a new save. I don't
Can
care.
you put
Yeah,
that in the
just gonna-
cloud? Can you put that save in the cloud and use it?
maybe. If I can't, I'll just start over. It's not the end of the world.
Hey, I don't know that you can transfer your save. Hey, I will go ahead and stake out my claim now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to play a fucking super evil monster character in Fable 2. I'm going to do everything as bad as I can do. And if there's bad endings, I'm going to do them. And if I can kill people, I'm going to kill them. It's going to be a lot of fucking fun.
I'm going to guess that Vanessa's going to make sure everyone loves her and says how great she
I'm
is.
gonna play a pretty good girl.
I played a good girl too.
Oh, yay.
Oh, you both? Okay, so I'll play an evil boy.
Bad boy.
Bad boy. And John can try to pull a Jim and play a Grey Jedi. So, squarely against Vanessa.
That was my question.
You were champing at the bit. Why don't you tell us what you were squarely against?
No, that's not what we do in the last episode. We
Why don't you
do it
give
for
us
the
your
whole game. Are we
So,
squarely against or roundly for Chrono Cross?
Can I go first?
Yeah, but I want to ask a question.
Okay.
okay.
Maybe it's better for after we go. So everyone go, and then
Okay.
I'll ask my question.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I will say I'm roundly for this game. Certain things, like when we talked about them as we played the game, really made me angry. But like I will, even though the game did it very clumsily, it made most everything make sense, like some kind of sense, and it kind of was able to wrap up all this crazy multi-dimensional time travel shit in a way that, like, when you lay it all out, makes a certain kind of sense. And like I appreciate that. The game was not difficult. It was fun to play. The writing was usually good. I will say, yeah, I'm roundly for this game. I like Chrono Cross. Who'da fucking thunk it? 2020. Matthew, how do you feel about it?
Hey, let me just say everything that Jim just said. And also, it's a bad sequel to Chrono Trigger, which I don't remember the details of that well because, I mean, to be honest with you, gang, I'm pretty sure I said it when we played it. It's not my favorite game. It's fine. It's a good game. I thought this game was a fucking delight. It was wonderful. I was thrilled to play it. I beat it in like 60 hours. I did all the optional stuff. I had a blast. Would I play it again? No, I wouldn't play any of these games again. But definitely 2 thumbs up, roundly for Vanessa.
I am roundly for this game. It is silly. It has many silly characters. It is colorful and bright. You do see some smooth anime boy buns. And
You get to be a cat.
you get to be a cat. You get to be a cat man. I love that twist. I think it's good. I could do without all of the exposition, but I guess that's just the way it is, and you can put it on fast read and just skip through those dialogue boxes. It's no big deal. It's a good game. It's fun to play. It's pretty easy. Like, as far as RPGs go, it really does not require a lot of grinding. In fact, it gets to a point where it doesn't reward grinding at all, and I think that's fun. So yeah, 2 thumbs up roundly for this game. John,
Yes.
are you roundly for or squarely against this game?
I think I am roundly for this game, but not like super roundly for. I thought it was really good sometimes. I also thought it got like sometimes during the dungeons and exposition scenes it could get a little boring. But it was still good. Like, I think that it's got the best PS1 graphics, and I love that. I love seeing someone really make the most of an older system like this. I think the story at some points was really inventive. Like, switching to Lynx was really cool. There's a lot of hot nonsense. It's still not my favorite Square game, but I think it's good. It's very good. I'm glad we played it.
Picture this. You're Lynx. You get the tears of love. You go and you do the final body swap. And instead of turning back into Surge, who do you turn into? Chrono. And you play the rest of the game as Chrono. The whole thing's been a bait and switch, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Chrono this whole time.
That'd be cool.
Play the shit out of that game. Vanessa, what was your question?
Would this game have been more enjoyable if you did not know it was a sequel to Chrono Trigger until you got to the point where it was revealed?
Yes. Like, I would say that if they took out all the Chrono Trigger stuff, which you can easily do, and just been like, oh, Luca was this lady that came upon this baby. but was also part of this team. Yeah, you could do that, and the game would be less infuriating for me personally. So yes.
I mean, it would be better, I think, if it wasn't Lavos and it wasn't the Chrono Kids.
Yeah,
and it
it's
was
just like
its
this
own
alien
thing about
or yeah.
yeah, a crazy dimensional split that happened in this fantasy world that you solve. Like, all these games are about something stupid that happens that some anime kids solve. Like, it's fine. But that's not really what she asked.
It's not what I asked. What if it was still a sequel, but you did not know, and then the twist was it's a sequel to Chrono Trigger?
I like it. I think that would be neat, but I think it'd also be hard to hold that one in 20 years without someone telling you.
Also, like, in this game, what's the first thing you stumble upon that really makes you go, oh, this is a Chrono Trigger sequel? Isn't it the Destroyed Epoch?
No, it's there are the first thing that made me do that was there are Hecarim bones that you can get in Termina.
So
But would that have been enough to make you go,
that's how you
this
get
is a
Pashul.
sequel to Chrono Cross? What would have been the point where you, if you didn't know it was a sequel to Chrono Cross, would the Hecarim bones have made you go, this is a stealth sequel to Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger? Or would you have been like, oh, that's a fun little homage? But when you ran into the Epoch, then you would definitely be like, oh shit, this is a sequel to Chrono Cross, and it's a terrible one.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it'd be worse. That's my answer. John, you want to throw your hat in the ring on this
Sure.
one?
I think I'd be into it. I'm trying to think of the only game that's ever like pulled a weird switcheroo like that, like where secretly it was something other
Metal
than
Gear 2.
Sorry?
Metal Gear 2.
Solid 2. No,
Yes,
not
Metal Gear
regular.
Solid 2.
Yeah.
That's the closest I can think of that pulled a real fucking
I
switcheroo
think,
on you.
This might be a spoiler, and I won't say why. I think the only other game that's really done something that would be like this would be Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I guess. But that's, you knew, whatever.
I didn't know the thing that makes that game interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, don't tell me.
I won't.
Something makes it interesting? Maybe I will play it after all.
It's
I
good.
forgot you hadn't played it, honestly. You didn't play it when we played it, Vanessa? Why?
Didn't feel like it.
All right. Well, that's fair, because we had just played Final Fantasy, so you should play it, so we won't spoil it.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we have some emails to get through before we dive into the Patreon plug. So who wants to read them? I'm going to read the green one.
I'll read the red one.
Good.
I'll read the third one.
Great.
Letter number 1. I was wondering if any
have
of
lots of
you
fun.
would be trying out the New Game Plus features of Chrono Cross. It adds a new island and allows you to regain all the characters from the previous playthrough. So I believe you can gather every character in only 2 playthroughs. Thanks for the many hours of laughs. Longtime fan, Volderoth. When I finished the game, I thought maybe I'll try some of this New Game Plus thing. I read about the 10 alternate endings. I didn't do it. I got other things to play. Gotta play Fable 2.
Is there anything fun in those alternate endings?
The alternate endings are strange. Essentially, it's like the alternate endings of Chrono Trigger, where you can go and kill Lavos at any point.
Or rank
So-
all the boys or whatever.
Or
Oh,
rank all the boys.
yeah.
Where the girls are ranking all the guy characters.
I guess that does make it a lot like a sequel to Chrono Trigger, there where you can go and because now you can go and fight the thing at any time.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
depending on when you do it, you essentially just see different fates for the characters. Like one I remember is if you do it right before you go to Viper Manor for the first time, you see Kid, and Kid has like amassed an army of radical dreamers to take down Lynx and is marching it towards the manor.
Wow.
I don't really remember any other ones.
Okay. Well, our second letter is from Riven Zidrol, and it's real quick, real shorty. They say the third voice in Masamune is Doreen, Masa and Mune's older sister. Chrono Trigger doesn't really give any more information as to who she is or why she exists, other than to try and keep the twins in line. So there's our big explanation for that. Kind of a letdown.
That always
ribbon.
happens in history, where it's like the woman who kind of helps the thing actually happen never gets the credit. Like the Wright sister, who was probably the principal designer of the airplane.
Oh, I've never heard that before. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not even in the like the Elliot Kalin written or no. Yeah. No, he didn't do the Wright brothers ones, but in there's a series of kids like autobiographies or biographies of famous people that you can read. It does not mention the sister in it.
What are they? My name is something something, and they're like
it's the
picture
Who was
on the
books.
covers. Yeah. Who was?
Who was ? So it's like, who was Albert Einstein? Who were the Wright brothers?
Gotcha. Anyway, we have a third letter that John's going to read because it's 20 pages long.
All right. Hey, Square Roots crew. Thanks for running Chrono Cross. It's a weird favorite of mine, and it's been neat to listen to you guys go through a very similar emotional journey, expecting a sequel to the legendary Chrono Trigger and finding Cross altogether lacking. But damn, it's actually a pretty great game besides that. I want to posit that despite your hatred, Glenn is actually the best character in the game. Wait,
Jim's hatred.
Why would I hate Glenn? I think Glenn
Who's
is
Jim?
great.
No, Matt hates Glenn.
I don't
He's-
fucking know anything about Glenn.
Matt literally got up and left when you talked about Glenn earlier.
He is
Because I was
symbolic
mad that I didn't get. You know what?
of what Chrono Cross is, because if you can get over being pissed that he's not the same Glenn that is Frog and WTF, he's a ridiculously cool and powerful guy. After defeating Dario, he can wield double Einlancers and absolutely destroy everything. Yeah, that's how I finished the game.
That sounds amazing.
Although he's still
That
like
does sound cool.
half the strength of Serge with his
Master Mune?
Mune.
Wow.
Though most of you are new to the game and won't carry the same nostalgic weight that it would if you had, say, played it that wistful summer after 8th grade. That would have been impossible unless time travel. Please don't disregard the spectacular music of Yasunori Mitsuda. That's where the real sequelness happens.
What year did it come out?
2000.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit.
I recently found a killer reinterpretation of an album on Spotify, David Peacock, Parelius. He covers the Termina theme and it's the sort of thing that should be played in concert halls. Thanks again for the sweet cast. I hope you bothered to read this far. Duncan.
Thanks, Dunk.
I had...
Thanks, Dunk. I'm
Sometimes-
gonna check that out. I love I want to say real quick. We didn't talk about it a lot in this series. He's 100% right that the real sequelness happens in the soundtrack. The soundtrack is fucking great. I loved the soundtrack.
And
to
this game's got good, like, I played the whole game on headphones. This game sounds amazing. Like, for a PS1 game, this is probably, one of the best sounding PS1 games. Before we get into the ending, ending of the podcast, I just want to talk about a daydream I had yesterday where
What?
Jim was saying...
Fuck.
So, I was just imagining that Jim gets so mad at Mitsuda for killing off his favorite Chrono characters that he like decides to meet him in some kind of mountain pass and then drive Mitsuda's car off the road. But fortunately, Jim's a nurse, so he takes him back to his place, gets Mitsuda back to health, but then decides to cut off his feet until Mitsuda
What?
writes a new ending
Oh
where
my
all
god, I
his
pull a misery on the guy.
his favorite characters back to life. And I was just like, it just made me
John.
smile thinking of Jim doing this because he's so angry at the dirty bird that killed Chrono.
Dirty bird. That's what I was trying to think of.
It makes you smile.
That cock-a-doodie designer with his cock-a-doodie frozen flame.
Anyway, back to the Patreon. So we might have 2 Patreon bonus episodes this month because Vanessa and I have our own thing to do.
We're also, can we just tell the listeners about like our recorded Zoom experiments?
Sure.
We've also been on at least one occasion recording our unedited, like with video, recording our unedited podcast recordings.
Watch Matthew vape in real time.
Yeah, that we are considering putting on the Patreon. If that's something that you're interested in, let us know.
Or another way to do that, if people are interested in it, is we could do like a patron only live stream of the recording of the episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but
Can't
like
you just
that's
stream
like
it to
they
YouTube?
have to be present for it though. I don't know that that's
Yeah.
like signifying their
I
demand.
don't think you do. I think you can just have like a patron only YouTube
can.
channel, right?
Yeah,
And
totally.
just have the links up there so if somebody doesn't watch it live, they can
well,
watch
you
it
can
the next day.
you can
or...
give out like a private
Yeah,
link or
yeah, you
something,
can do it
right?
Yeah.
as an unlisted video.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's something we're thinking about doing, and yeah, I would love some feedback on that. But for the month of November, our bonus Patreon episode, on top of all the other great live streams and recordings and stuff that we're doing and releasing on the main feeds, our November Patreon episode is going to be a Chrono sequel episode. All the hosts are going to pitch their idea for a final Chrono sequel to kind of wrap up the Chrono trilogy. And yeah, that's going to be a bonus episode. We also would love it if patrons or listeners in general would write in and give us their Chrono sequel ideas to kind of cap off this series. We already got one from Chief Hazard, and it's long and great. And we will read that one on that episode, and we hope to get some more that'll come out at the end of November.
Yeah, I'm really excited to write mine. I got some really pretty good ideas already percolating.
Try to not make them be like 5 pages long. In fact, try to not make them even be 1 page long. Maybe,
Yeah,
so
listen,
we can fit
Vanessa,
a lot in.
The good news is that I love the idea of writing this stuff down, and will definitely not come prepared.
I think
And
what Matt
we'll
means to
wing
say
it.
is Matt likes to go to the garage.
Yeah, I like to go to the garage.
Yeah, I'll be writing my stuff down. I'm really going to think about it. I'll probably draw some illustration as well. I'm going to work very hard on this project. Maybe.
Anyway, hey, we have a Patreon, as we just discussed with our upcoming Patreon episodes. We have 2 tiers at our Patreon. It is patreon.com/squarerootspodcast. You can join our $3 tier and listen to all of our monthly bonus episodes and maybe new stuff in the future. No promises, no take-backsies. We also have a $5 tier that allows you to vote. Speaking of votes, Jim, speaking of votes.
Speaking of votes, there's an election coming up.
No, there is a poll running from November 2nd to November 30th on the Patreon to determine the last game of the year. You have 4 options in this poll if you are a patron of that tier. We do recommend, obviously, listeners, that you join up if you're not and give us a vote for the end of the year and make your voice heard.
What I want
Games
everyone to
are
do,
Vagrant Story, Parasite Eve.
What does John
2.
want everyone to do?
I want everyone to sign up and then vote and then not cancel their account until November 30th, because that's when the votes actually count, and then forget to remove their account so they get billed anyways, and then we get rich.
Stay like that
And
forever.
then we reap the benefits.
Exactly.
We reap the benefits. Well, I'm going to have to cut that joke. The games in the poll are Vagrant Story, kind of an underdog, I think. Vagrant Story, another PS1 RPG. We can play it on our PlayStation Vitas, I think.
What is Vagrant Story a sequel to?
It is
It
a
is a
spiritual.
prequel.
It is a
prequel.
Prequel to what?
Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy XII. Vagrant Story takes place in the kingdom of Ivalice.
It does, and it's really great, and it's pretty short, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna do it one of these days. It keeps getting worked into the polls, but if it doesn't win soon, we might just pull the trigger.
The Chrono
The next
Trigger.
option. The Chrono Trigger. The next option, Matt's choice, is Trials of Mana. That's right. We played the classic, much beloved, much requested sequel to Chrono Trigger, and I think we should finish off the year with another much beloved and much requested sequel, the sequel to Secret of Mana. The
Is it a sequel, like a direct sequel?
Yes, it is. And the first game that Vanessa was on the show for. Oh my God, the heartwarming memories.
Does it also have Santa Claus in it?
Memories.
it's a very interesting, tricky game. It has six main
Tricky. Yo, here we go.
plot lines. So when you play it, you can choose one of 6 protagonists, and each protagonist has a totally different story. So I don't know how exactly we'll do it, but if it wins, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
What was the next choice? John's choice was Parasite Eve 2.
I honestly wish I would have thought to choose Parasite Eve 2 because I've always wanted to play it. I've watched speedruns of it. I've watched no damage playthroughs of it. I'm very excited to get in there.
Never heard any. I don't know anything that happens in it. I've never played it. I love Parasite Eve 1. I didn't play 2 because it got such bad reviews, but now apparently people are looking back at it like, oh, it's not so bad. So
Yeah, no. Third one is much reviled.
yes.
Much reviled.
Yeah, I love this game very much. It takes place in a dystopian Washington, D.C., and it stars Mr. Taken himself, Liam Neeson. But if they do go the way we want them to go, it will be refreshing and fun. What a fun way to get through the last November, December, 3-ish months of the Trump administration.
That's true. That's true.
Anyways, that's it. That's the Patreon plug. We also like to read the whole list of patrons at the end of the episode as a thank you to all of our patrons, and I'm going to do that right now. We would like to thank Nathan Poirot, Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5, Listen Up Squid Stains, OMG, What Is This Game? Adam Zimmerman, Alex Dillard, This Game Sucks, Play More Mario, or Mother 3. Hey, patron, you're going to have a say in that. November 5th. Wash in the Wind, Amanda Douglas, Andrew O, Andrew Leinart, that one guy, insert clever name here, Normality, the DOS Adventure Game Live Playthrough, Ashley T, Aaron Bachman,
Jump to the fence post, running in the stall. Black Phillip,
God
Black
damn it.
Phillip, king
Normality,
of
the
all.
DOS Adventure Game Live Playthrough, Ashley T, Aaron Bachman, excited for Fable II, Fable Goes West, Andy Best, Greek Earth, Eyes of the Shifter, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Grayson, Chris Ryan, Threads of Fate in 2021, or the Cuzzle will drizzle.
Yeah.
Cassandra, Cyril the Wolf, Sexy Grandma's Boy Toy is Christopher Highness. Hey, Chris Benyak, Christian Go, Square Roots presents The Mick Kissers.
The
Mic
mic kissers. Do we kiss our mics?
Yeah,
I guess
last
that's fine
episode
sometime.
I was disturbed because I looked at your camera and you're going like this.
Did we not do that on the stream?
Yeah.
Didn't we all make out with our microphones?
That was
when
the
we
last
streamed the other
episode.
night? Anyway, of course, Square Roots presents The Mic Kissers, Lyriel of the Claire, Dylan Rowe, David Shook, Ethan G. Pearson.
Oh, and my turn. I have Aaron J.L. O'Toole. It has become the chronologic point dedicated to the mallet. Dan E.P., Eric Garb, Andy Smith, Hexagon, Florian Jonas Kramer, Wonder Swan, George Brady, Gage, John, how do you pronounce this?
La Charité.
La
Charité.
Charité.
PJ Ends, Taiwan Gordon, Chrono Cross makes Jim Chrono Triggered, Knopford, Armin Hammer, Hudson Roth, Isaac Wright, Moist,
What the fuck?
Moist,
No.
Jake Dickerson, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, Jameson, Jason Timms, Jared Collins, it's peanut butter jelly time, Huxley Iguana, D. Jethro, Chili's, Baby Back Mario, Reddit is Harold Lauder, Jonathan Ellsworth, Jonathan Smith, Joshua Bennett, Chief Hazard Built, Justin Rash.
Devin Sloan. Kevin Walter, Vanessa Real Mom, TM, Citrus C, Vanessa's fourth mom, Vanessa's mother's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate, Stephen Paget, Hales, Grey Code, Alexander Jokic, Andy M, Matt Jorgensen, Miguel Torres, Fresh Eyes, Michael Crawford, Wedge Coon, Matthew Newland, Dr. Fine, say everyone's name, Paul Bursch, Chrono Cross
I keep
related.
stumbling on Matthews.
Vanessa's mom says, vote, you American twats. Mostly Rational Person, Soy Soda Pop, Race Jenkins, Robert T, Cake Ninja, Joseph, Ron, Robert J. Defendi, Robert M. Pullum, Ross Hartley, Ryan Miller. This feels like weirdly alphabetical. Samu Mitchell.
Sam Harrison, Cameron Shoei, Sean Gonzalez, David Green, Brian Pitt, the RPG Luminary, Sergeant Spaghetti Saving Sid. Everyone in the U.S. should know how to speak Spanish. Jim's embarrassing amaranth back tattoo. Sean, still
That needs
just
to become a reality.
Still just Pushul's terrifying expression. Stu Skeel, Sean Walsh, to Bumpkins just got back from a timeline where Jim loves Chrono Cross, but sadly drowned in the great washing machine flood. Chris Wilder, Benjamin Avner, Ari Kopavara. I challenged the other Tracy to a duel to the pain. Tom, TJ Miller's horny grandma impersonation. Tracy, Robot in Greece. Giant 90s PlayStation hot polygonal fear effect character model titties. Tyler Petty, Justin
Hearing Vanessa
Ham,
say the word titties like that was funny.
Jordan McNeil, Megan Sullivan, Umex Foxad, Matthew Casterline, Ward Childress, William Westgard, and WWE Mike G.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. You can send us an email to read on the podcast. We are squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or whatever pod thing you like. Thanks to RichaadEB for their Scars of Time cover. You can find
Oh, yeah, I'm going to miss it.
RichaadEB on YouTube, Twitter, Patreon, and we need a new theme. Fuck.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
There's got to be some good Fable ones in there.
But yeah,
Are there? I feel like we struggled last time. I
links
know that it's
in the show
known
notes.
for its music.
All right, everyone, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
And Matthew Van Zant. John. I'm John Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
That's true. Vote!
Wait, are you asking them to vote for our poll or to vote for a candidate in the election?
Obviously, he's excited about the poll.
Yeah, I'm excited about Trials of Mana winning. John, is that enough of a straight guy yelling at you for the night? I'm sorry.
I
The look on
said
your
you're
face
the
is not
only one
pleased.
who's
The look
allowed.
on your face is very not pleased. John looks like he's going to leave.
Well, John's upset because he's Canadian and he can't participate in our great American
I
democracy.
already voted for my candidate for my BC
Your provincial.
provincial election. So
Oh, provincial, how charming.
they-
We're talking
they-
about real politics.
they won by a landslide, so it was great.
Good job, John. Why don't I not hear about this at all? John doesn't
Why
share
aren't you
with us.
celebrating?
Party.
I am an election judge in this year's election. I am going to be an election judge at a polling place in Texas. Let's hope nobody brings
Shoots
a
you?
firearm.
Yeah, don't get shot.
You should also say when someone tries to bring their dog in to vote, you're like, there's nothing in the rule book.
Here's your ballot. Here's your dog's ballot.